So, time has come, finally leaving Mallorca, and this feels like a pretty good moment. It's a marking moment. We've kind of finished with our little hanging out, waiting, chilling in the Med, and now this will be the first passage west, first leg of the journey out of the Med and towards Gibraltar. The plan is to sail to Ibiza. I'm going to be sailing it alone because Alex is not here. She's in France getting vaccinations and seeing some family and stuff. So it's going to be me, and then there's a couple who contacted us on Instagram who are doing a project on sustainable travel who want to join. So I'm going to have a couple of crew on board. I'm going to leave here around 9 p.m. and then sail. It'll be about 12 hours, sail through the night and arrive in Ibiza tomorrow morning. So just getting the boat ready, getting all ship shape, making sure nothing can fall anywhere. Starting to get pretty good. There goes the sunset. West is that way. Well, I mean, the sun's going down there. We're going out there. So I picked up my crew late that evening and we left straight away for an overnight passage from Mallorca to Ibiza. We'd never met Felix, but he reached out on Instagram. Him and his girlfriend had a film project on sustainable travel and on how hard it is to travel sustainably versus how easy and cheap it is to travel by plane. This passage was proof of that, an overnight 12-hour sail to Ibiza from Mallorca. And then they had to take a ferry from Ibiza to Barcelona and then a train onwards from there, when you could have just got a flight from Ibiza all the way for an hour or less. After a pretty smooth sail, we made it to Ibiza, and the next morning Alex was back with us as she flew back out to the boat. So we're leaving for mainland Spain today. Got Alex back on the boat. Here she is. And so we've just come to shore for a quick session before the passage to Spain and enjoy Ibiza one last time. Navika is just over there.
Getting ready to go now, and the wind is pretty strong, so hopefully we have a good sail over there.
Kite surfers everywhere. That guy just passed so close to us.
Leaving Ibiza. So we have about, I don't know, it depends where we stop, but at least 24 hours ahead of us. And we're just gonna get the head sail out now. But we're just making some water whilst we've got the engine on, so.
Even if this sail looks like any other we've done, there was a pretty excited energy aboard Navika. After not crossing the Atlantic last year, leading to a bonus season in the Mediterranean, this passage felt like we were picking up where we left off. We'll just run with the wind now here at west so we can pull out nicely. And then the wind's gonna sort of funnel down south and we just adjust our course as we go along.
We've pulled out the head sail and we are on a run now, which is really nice. And it's so flat. It's just so relaxed and really chilled out. Can't really see, but. And yeah, so far just kind of taking it easy. The calm seas didn't last that long. Before we knew it, the swell picked up pretty seriously and we were rolling around quite a bit. pooped on earlier.
Pooped on? I don't think you can say that. I think it's pooped. So a wave came over the stern there a few minutes ago, and just so much water came into the boat. We had 2 open hatches at the back here, which is usually fine, and water just went pouring in and soaked everything, and yeah, that's never happened to us actually.
Everything's so wet. All our phones were out.
Luckily they're
And the camera.
water resistant. The camera I'm a little bit more worried about. With the wind picking up, I went down to check on the rudder and autopilot, and I noticed that the rudder shaft was leaking, so I made a note to tighten the packing at our next stop. The wind has picked back up and we are flying along.
So it's 3 a.m. and we just woke up to, well, Lars is on watch. We just woke up to the boat jibing, so we are racing. So Lars just came upstairs here and then just took the helm and brought us back.
I mean, I've been a little bit worried about it all night, and then it happened. The wind shifted north by about 20 degrees and we jibed. It only happens in a second. Luckily I have the preventer out and everything seems okay, but there's quite a lot of wind and we've got full sail out and we're flying along doing 7 to 8 knots. So not the best time to jibe, but
We've got full moon, line in the way. Time to reef.
time to reef. Yeah, not the most fun thing to do in the middle of the night, but I think it's got to be done. All right, action time.
Okay.
Coming up to the wind.
Okay. We made it to the Marminal early morning and dropped the hook after a pretty fast and rough sail. It's funny looking back at this footage, it can seem like we were happily cruising along the entire way. But in reality, this is one of our toughest sails, and we felt completely beat down and full of doubt when we arrived in mainland Spain. It just goes to show that there can be a real gap between how things look outwardly and how you feel inside.
So I woke up this morning and there's fish scales on the boat. Have a look around. Look at this poor little guy. Oh no. Flying fish must have been escaping some other predator and just landed on a boat. It's pretty unlucky. Sorry, little dude.
After a quick stop in the Marminal to stretch our legs, we got ready to set off again. The Marminal is a huge saltwater lagoon off the southeastern coast of Spain. It's got a slightly eerie vibe, and you can see how it must have felt like an abundant ecosystem and quite an attractive place to visit before. But since 2016, pretty much all life in the Marminal has died due to pollution caused by farming in the surrounding areas and the fertilizer runoff flowing into the lagoon. So we just put the dinghy away. That's our new procedure because now we have a fat outboard, which involves us winching it up. So it's a little bit different to what we did before, where we could just like bring up the dinghy with the outboard on, pretty much lift it up, no problem. But we're doing that because tomorrow morning, really early, we are leaving here. I've got some family here, some from the UK and some who live here, who we went to visit last year actually. So we're gonna bring the boat to Torrevieja tomorrow, put the boat in the marina there. Got a really early start. I think we're gonna leave at like 5 a.m. Or maybe Lars might start the engine whilst I'm still in bed. Also got some really bad news after the wave came into the cockpit on our sail the other day. The camera doesn't work anymore. I really tried turning it on and everything and it's just not working. I'm so bummed. Yeah, luckily we've got the phones in the meantime, but you know, quality just isn't the same, so.
Good morning. So it's about 5:15 in the morning and I just lifted anchor in Marminal and we are motoring up north towards Torrevieja.
After leaving Navika in the marina, we hitched a ride up to Alicante and checked out the town, had a coffee and breakfast there before continuing our journey on up towards Gandia. Gracias. We tried our hand at the game of paddle, which is a really popular racket sport here in Spain. It's a bit like tennis, but with elements of squash, making it fast-paced and a lot of fun. We weren't that good though, so I'll show you some locals playing instead. We enjoyed some time on land and continued up to Valencia, where we spent the day visiting. It always blows my mind how far you can get by car in such little time compared to the boat. That evening, we stumbled upon an open-air music concert. This was the first concert we'd come across since COVID started, so we jumped at the opportunity and soaked up the local music before we headed back to the boat. Aloha! So we have just woken up to a bit of a swelly anchorage and some rain. So we were wondering about hanging around here today, but I think we're gonna continue down because I want to get out of this rain patch and get to the next place really. There's nowhere really that we can stay that's not exposed, so we're gonna make a move. Yeah, Lars is getting ready to leave now, so let's go.
Let's go.
Look at the sky. So we finally got some wind. Well, finally, it's been like not even an hour, but we got some wind, which is really good. So I'm hoping it lasts and it's not just kind of a squall wind that we're catching here, because it could well be. But whatever, we're still able to do about 6-7 knots now, which is cool. I'm just hoping it lasts a bit longer.
That's where we were just about half an hour ago. Just chucking it down.
Let's see if we can beat it.
So far so good. It's just pushing us.
We later found out on the news that was some of the worst rain that the region's had in a long time, and that there were big floods that day. It sounds like we made the right call to leave. Lars tried out a trick that a fellow sailor had told us about, which was using the boom instead of the spinnaker pole to hold out the headsail. It worked pretty well in the end, so a good one to know about. Here we go. Celebratory biscuit, all the way from Brittany in France. These are probably like the best biscuits in the world, I think. Yeah.
I think you're right. These are up there. They're my kind of biscuit.
I love them. What, you mean like 80% butter?
Yeah. We sped past town after town on the Spanish coast, keen to make our way out to the Atlantic. But first we needed a quick pit stop in Marminal for some final repairs. This time we were determined not to get stuck there. So we just made it in and it's 1 a.m. Weird to be back in Marminal.
Oh.
Nice one. 90 miles.